Brittney Griner elbowing Caitlin Clark in a crazy way and then calling her a trash white girl.
We have heard nothing from the WNBA, absolutely nothing.
The WNBA should investigate Brittney Griner seemingly uttering profanities about white girl.
And Brittney Griner has not commented, which I find significant. I've watched that video countless times, and it sure looks like Brittney Griner says, white girl.
It started with a chilling whispered phrase caught on camera, an alleged racial slur against the WNBA's biggest star. What followed was a deafening silence from the league that only amplified the outrage. This wasn't just a bad call, it was a deliberate on-court attack that ignited a firestorm, exposing a tangled web of favoritism, shocking hypocrisy, and a truth about one player so unsettling it could unravel the entire sport. Why is one player seemingly above all consequences? And what secrets is the league desperately trying to keep hidden as the truth explodes into public view?
Brittney Griner appeared to call Caitlin Clark trash and effing white girl.
The incident itself was swift, jarring, and broadcast to the world in agonizing detail. On a night that promised fierce competition, a shocking confrontation unfolded that few could have anticipated. Brittney Griner, fresh off a contentious foul, appeared to make a deliberate, aggressive elbowing motion toward Caitlin Clark. But the physical contact was just the beginning. The real shock came next. As cameras zoomed in, capturing every syllable, lip readers across the internet were in chilling agreement. Griner appeared to mouth the unambiguous words, trash effing white girl. The footage spread like wildfire, exploding across social media within minutes, igniting a fury that dwarfed any previous basketball controversy.
Brittney Griner is, in fact, a man.
She's the Rookie of the Year. She's 4th in the league in MVP voting.
Caitlin Clark is an absolute all-star. She is the Michael Jordan of this. This is the girl that girls have been waiting for forever.
Fans, seasoned commentators, and even neutral observers were left utterly stunned by the blatant nature of the alleged slur. Yet, from the WNBA itself, there was nothing. Not a single statement, no fine, no suspension. Just an absolute deafening void where accountability should have been. This wasn't merely a moment of fleeting anger. It was a detonation, a public display of hostility, and the league's puzzling, absolute silence left millions bewildered, asking in unison why the crickets when the evidence was so crystal clear. The very lack of response only amplified the outrage, fueling suspicions that something far more insidious was at play beneath the surface.
Caitlin Clark is a rising star in women's basketball. She's pulling in crazy viewership numbers.
She wasn't the one who was full sprinting down the court.
Caitlin Clark is the needle mover.
Yeah, she is the main draw. She is the needle mover.
And she was the MVP.
She is the franchise player.
She's my role model. I really look up to her because she's that awesome person and she has like a lot of aura, so like.
Why do you like Caitlin?
And she's so good at basketball.
Caitlin Clark arrived in the WNBA like a force of nature, a basketball prodigy shattering viewership records and single-handedly dragging the league into unprecedented national spotlight. But instead of being embraced as the undisputed savior she truly is, she's been inexplicably designated as the league's unofficial punching bag. From her very first game, she's been subjected to a relentless barrage of physical abuse, pushes, shoves, brutal elbows, and slams, all delivered with an intensity that goes far beyond any accepted standard of competition. Opponents openly celebrate their aggressive tactics, treating every hard foul against Clark like a championship-winning moment, clearly designed to intimidate rather than simply defend.
Brittney Griner, who I can't stand, sad that she's a Baylor grad. She called her a trash expletive white girl. That was the lip reading. Yes, trash white girl. Trash blanking white girl is what she says.
This isn't just tough play or veteran hazing. It's an undeniable, disturbing pattern of hostility. It begs the unsettling question, is this simply about basketball, or is there a deeper, darker undercurrent of resentment? Many believe it's a calculated effort to put her in her place. A raw, visceral animosity fueled by her sudden, undeniable fame, her undeniable dominance, and for some, even her race. Clark, for her part, plays with remarkable grace under pressure, never retaliating, never stooping to cheap shots or dirty plays. She simply continues to perform, letting her unparalleled talent speak for itself. But the constant abuse, the deliberate targeting, the unsettling lack of protection, it's a chilling spectacle, and the league's continued baffling failure to safeguard its most valuable asset, the player who is literally making the sport relevant again, speaks volumes about its priorities. She is carrying the entire WNBA on her back, yet receives nothing but a target on her back in return.
Is the WNBA okay with one of its players saying white girl on the bench and getting caught by TV cameras saying such? I guess they are. I guess they're okay with it. Obviously, the league would very much not be okay with a white player saying black girl on the bench in anger and getting caught by TV cameras. That would be an immediate suspension, if not a career ender for said white girl.
Now, let's engage in a crucial, uncomfortable thought experiment. What if the roles were dramatically reversed? What if Caitlin Clark, the white player, had been caught on live national television, undeniably mouthing trash effing black girl at Brittney Griner? The outcry would be immediate, thunderous, and career-ending. We would witness a media meltdown of epic proportions, a non-stop 24-hour news cycle dominated by the scandal, league-wide statements condemning the racism in the strongest possible terms, and almost certainly a lifetime ban from the sport for Clark. Legendary analyst Skip Bayless hit the nail squarely on the head, stating flat out that any white player making that kind of remark caught on camera would be utterly crucified by the media and the league. Their career would be over by lunchtime, no questions asked. Yet, when Griner allegedly did precisely that, she received an inexplicable pass, a dismissive shrug, an unspoken nod of approval from the very organization that perpetually claims to champion equality and decry all forms of hate.
But it is completely possible that fucking white girl was about Caitlin Clark's popularity, about her stature, about her impact on the entire league.
This isn't just a double standard, it's a blatant in-your-face display of selective outrage. A hypocrisy so stark it makes you question everything the league supposedly stands for. Adding insult to injury, the WNBA sprinted to investigate vague, unverified claims of racist fan behavior against Angel Reese from Indiana Fever fans, accusations that were later definitively dismissed as false. But when one of their own star players is seemingly caught on national television uttering a racial slur, suddenly the league goes deaf, blind, and mute. The contrast is not just puzzling, it's an institutional betrayal of trust, leaving fans to wonder, are the WNBA's core values merely empty slogans, or do they truly mean what they say? The chilling reality is that their actions scream the former.
She has been abused repeatedly. We have shown you videos, just getting elbowed, getting crushed, inbound passes where they ram into her, just absolutely abused, and there clearly is a racial element to it.
The WNBA loves to paint itself as a beacon of progress and inclusion, constantly parading slogans like "No place for hate," "equality," and "change the game" across its courts and marketing campaigns. But their current actions, or rather their stunning prolonged inaction, scream a far different truth. The profound, deafening silence following Griner's alleged outburst and the subsequent lack of disciplinary action are not just puzzling, they are corrosive. This institutional omerta is rapidly eroding the trust of millions of fans, many of whom are new to the sport solely because of Caitlin Clark's magnetic presence. They tuned in for the pure excitement of basketball brilliance, only to witness a generational talent being physically bullied, racially insulted, and then see the alleged aggressor shielded from all consequences.
The WNBA has come out numerous times. There's no place for hate. There's no place for racism.
Let's see an investigation into reverse racism that's going on across the league also.
Why is Brittney Griner being coddled to this inexplicable degree? Why is she seemingly immune to reproach even when clear, indisputable video footage demands answers? The WNBA's silence is not just a missed opportunity for accountability, it's an institutional betrayal. It sends a dangerous, unequivocal message. Some players are indeed more equal than others. This is an arrogant dismissal of fan concerns, a cynical attempt at narrative control that actively undermines the league's very foundation. conversation. It's not merely damaging the WNBA's public image, it's alienating the very audience Clark brought in, threatening to reverse years of hard-won growth. The league's refusal to address this glaring double standard is a direct attack on its credibility, demonstrating a disturbing willingness to sacrifice fairness for perceived favoritism, driving away the very fans it needs to survive.
The league would not be okay with a white player saying effing black girl.
Brittney Griner referring quite clearly, I believe, to Caitlin Clark and a white referee as, quote, trash ass white girls.
But the Brittney Griner saga plunges into depths far more profound and unsettling, reigniting a firestorm of speculation that has simmered for years, now poured back into the spotlight with jet fuel. We're talking about the renewed, highly sensitive, and deeply controversial debate swirling around Brittney Griner's biological identity. Let's be clear, we are not trafficking in unverified conspiracy theories. We are reporting on what is already blowing up across social media, news platforms, and even hushed locker room whispers. The rumor mill has gone mainstream, fueled by a combination of actual video clips, past posts, and what many are calling a conspicuous absence of transparency from official channels. The most recent spark? A topless Instagram story posted by Griner herself, which resurfaced and rapidly went viral. The clip, showing a remarkably flat chest without the usual telltale scarring of top surgery, immediately raised eyebrows across the internet.
If you are a straight white woman in the WNBA, there is no way that you feel completely safe.
The noise it's coming.
I don't appreciate the new fans that sit there and yell racial slurs at myself, my teammates, and the people that I play against. Because yeah, those might be opponents, but those are friends too. You know, they don't deserve that. So I don't appreciate the new fans. I think it's okay to do that.
And here's the unsettling twist that's making people raise them even higher. Instagram's AI, notoriously aggressive at flagging and removing female nudity, didn't take it down. Not for a day, not for a week, but for nearly 2 full years. The implication, many are alleging, is chilling. The platform's sophisticated detection software may have classified the torso as male. This astonishing oversight, if that's what it was, combined with Griner's already well-known deep voice, broad frame, and unparalleled physical dominance on the court, has blown open the floodgates of doubt for countless observers. Even sports fans with no agenda watching her slam into a player like Caitlin Clark, who is demonstrably smaller, lighter, and clearly more vulnerable, are openly wondering, are we even playing on the same field here?
Image that she reposted. And the implication is, well, what it says at the top is white, this is how they say girl, G-Y, white gal, G-Y-A-L, running from the fade, like as if Caitlin Clark is basically
Caitlin Clark got roughed up repeatedly by defenders throughout her rookie year last year. It was attempted bullying, trying to break her spirit, intimidate her, put her in her place, get even with her for all the attention she was getting.
The rabbit hole goes deeper still. A viral anonymous post is making the rounds, claiming to reveal a shocking truth, that Griner was assigned female only on paper. The post alleges that her mother made this decision early in life, and that Griner has been navigating the intensely competitive sports world ever since, with this profound truth buried, living a life that contradicts her core identity for the sake of competition. The theory suggests Griner lives and presents as male in every other part of life, reserving the female presentation solely for the basketball court. True or not, this narrative is gaining undeniable traction, fueled by the WNBA's stubborn refusal to address these deeply unsettling concerns. And that silence is what fans are focused on.
She accused the Indiana Fever fan base of being racist. They investigated it. They said those accusations were false. The least that she could do is apologize to our great state and the fans that show up at these games and say, I'm sorry, I was wrong. Obviously, she's not going to do that. But also, Dan, why isn't the Indiana Fever apologizing to their own fan base for putting them through that, for going through those types of accusations?
WNBA without Caitlin Clark remains an attraction that not many people want to watch. Without Caitlin Clark,
is going to massively affect the WNBA.
Caitlin Clark is the closest thing that they have to quality play. Caitlin Clark, the Caitlin Clark effect is very real. She is the most valuable player in the league.
Why the secrecy? Why the stonewalling? Today's world rightfully champions inclusion and understanding, but it also demands a fundamental principle: fairness, especially in elite competition. If there's even a shred of legitimacy to these profound, unaddressed concerns, then every single female athlete, from Caitlin Clark to her teammates and opponents, deserves a league willing to investigate, provide clarity, and ensure a genuinely level playing field. When an individual who possesses the raw power and physical characteristics of a linebacker repeatedly slams into someone like Clark, a far smaller, lighter, and clearly more vulnerable athlete, it's no longer just about sportsmanship or competitive spirit. It's about fundamental safety, the very essence of equality, and whether the integrity of women's sports can truly be upheld under such an immense cloud of doubt. The unanswered questions continue to multiply, threatening to cast a permanent shadow over every game.
He stated in part, obviously, the league would not be okay with a white player saying effing black girl on the bench in anger.
Flag you. Brittney, let me see something real quick. Brick, thank you. Get the hell out of here, yo. Yo. Jab stepping, it's the brick. Swing and a miss.
Oh!
Yo, I ain't gonna fake it right now.
This isn't the first instance where Brittney Griner has found herself at the epicenter of a global firestorm, only to seemingly emerge from it with an inexplicable level of protection. Let's not forget her shocking arrest in Russia for carrying cannabis, leading to a lengthy, highly publicized detention. What followed was not a typical diplomatic negotiation, but an unprecedented prisoner swap for Victor Bout, the notorious arms dealer infamously dubbed the Merchant of Death, a man responsible for fueling conflicts and mass casualties across the globe. This was not merely a diplomatic exchange, it was a national security trade of immense proportions, a level of political pull and public protection most citizens, indeed most global figures, can only dream of.
That this person is not a female. Firstly, because this was actually posted to Brittney's personal Instagram. And when it comes to Instagram, they use a combination of like AI detection and plus manual surveyors, but specifically the AI detection to make sure that no explicit content ends up on the platform. So clearly whatever AI detection system was used when Brittney posted this and it stayed up for 106 weeks was not like, oh, this is a bare female chest, we have to take this down. It obviously assumed that Brittney was male.
For many, it served as another unsettling, powerful example of Griner consistently receiving extraordinary preferential treatment, seemingly immune to the severe consequences that would devastate virtually anyone else in a similar situation. Fans are rightly asking, how is someone with that kind of baggage, with that kind of history of exceptional privilege, still being so blatantly coddled by the league? Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark, the player who is single-handedly making the WNBA relevant again, bringing in unprecedented viewership and electrifying energy, can't even seem to get a legitimate foul called in her favor without a struggle. It's a stark, unavoidable question of priorities, of protection, and ultimately of whether this league is truly serious about safeguarding its hard-won future or merely protecting its perceived favorites, no matter the cost to its integrity.
Brittney is a weird case. He's a man, yes, that much is obvious, but not in the way that you think. He isn't trans. He's a straight cis male who was raised as a girl and given a girl's name by his parents. His mother is the insane one. She forced him to live as a female right up through high school, filled out all of his paperwork, including BC as female, and kept the charade going.
Caitlin Clark is not just a rising star. She is the undisputed needle mover, the franchise player, the singular reason why millions of new eyes are tuning into the WNBA for the very first time. She has signed countless jerseys, drawn roaring, unprecedented crowds, and infused the league with a dynamism and excitement it desperately needed. Her impact is undeniable, her value incalculable. Yet instead of receiving the support and protection she so clearly deserves, she is met with relentless elbows, hateful insults, and a shocking institutional silence from the very league she is elevating. Fans are watching, rapt, and they are not foolish.
Brittney Griner comes out and says, I am so sick and tired of the WNBA. It used to be a peaceful, small little thing. Now there's crowds screaming, hollering. This is disruptive. It's not allowing us to play the game. Every time we play her, there's this commotion, like this loud rumbling from the stands. Turns out it's people, thousands of them, just sitting there watching on purpose, It's very disruptive.
They keenly observe who is being protected and who is being punished. It is painfully clear that the player single-handedly dragging the league into the national spotlight is being targeted, while the one dragging others down, allegedly with racial slurs, consistently receives an inexplicable pass. The WNBA consistently touts its commitment to growing the game, but its deliberate, continued ignorance of what is happening to Clark and its refusal to address the glaring controversies surrounding Griner is precisely what is shrinking it. This blatant selective outrage, this profound hypocrisy, is not just damaging the league's image, it is corroding its foundation from within, threatening to alienate the very audience it so desperately needs to survive and thrive. The league stands on the precipice, its future hanging by a thread.
WNBA who are very fond of virtue signaling. But even when it comes to Brittney's exchange for like the Merchant of Death, which is insane, by the way, but had that been just like a straight white girl, my guess is that straight white girl would probably still be rotting in a Russian prison.
The WNBA stands at a critical, inescapable crossroads. The relentless questions surrounding Brittney Griner, her alleged racial comments, the league's stunning, inexplicable silence, and the deeply unsettling, reignited debate about her biological identity are not going to simply fade away. In fact, they are growing louder, fueled by a global fan base demanding clear answers, transparency, and ironclad reassurance that the league is truly committed to protecting all female athletes from unfair advantage and unchecked hostility. That's not merely a lapse in leadership, it's an act of profound cowardice, an abdication of responsibility that threatens the very core of the sport. If the league continues to remain silent, if it refuses to step up and enforce its own stated values, the fans will undoubtedly speak for them.
Brittney was male and therefore being topless on the platform was totally fine. It did not constitute as nudity. Now, some people may speculate, okay, well, is Brittney trans?
This is your call to action. If you stand with Caitlin Clark, if you believe she deserves fairness, dignity, and absolute safety on the court, make your voice heard. Engage, comment, support, and demand accountability. Because if the WNBA doesn't rise to this challenge soon, it's not just Caitlin Clark who will suffer the consequences. It's the credibility, the integrity, and the very future of women's sports that will collapse under the weight of its own unaddressed hypocrisy. The time for silence is over. The reckoning is coming.